Welcome to the deep dive. This week, we're really getting into quite a weekend in European football. Just a perfect storm, you could say, of emotion, tactics, and some serious disruption.
Yeah, it really was. We saw everything from, the raw passion of a huge Derby win in Rome.
Right, the Derby della Capitale.
Exactly. All the way to, well, French football's biggest game just grinding to a halt because of the weather. It's fascinating contrast.
So our mission today is to unpack that. How
Yeah.
one goal, one pretty severe weather forecast, and elsewhere, this almost robotic efficiency, how all that sort of defined the European game just in one weekend.
Yeah, we're looking beyond just the scores here. We want to get into the tactical side, but also the logistical fallout, which is pretty dramatic in places.
Okay, let's start in Italy then. That intensity. Roma against Lazio, the Derby della Capitale.
Yeah.
Roma scraped a 1-0 win. Hard fought is probably an understatement.
Oh, absolutely. And, a 1-0 in a game like that, it's not just 3 points. It really is a statement, like you said, about control, about managing the pressure.
And it feels very much like a Jose Mourinho signature, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
This result, it just underlines his tactical nous, as the analysis puts it. That knack for getting these narrow, maybe not pretty, but decisive wins when everything's on the line.
Yeah, not exactly a goal fest.
No, definitely not an attacking spectacle. It was tight, controlled. Both sides really just nullified each other for long periods.
So the reports mentioned that tension, that feeling of cancellation. It sounds less like free-flowing football and more like a strategic battle, almost chess-like maybe?
Chess that turned into a bit of a grind, yeah. A war of attrition is a good way to put it. And Roma won because their defense just held firm.
Resilience then.
Totally. They were disciplined, kept their shape, frustrated Lazio completely. Lazio just couldn't find a way through. Roma absorbed that pressure without cracking. That was the difference, structurally.
Okay, but that single goal had to come from somewhere. And the narrative seems to really focus on Lorenzo Pellegrini. Why him specifically? The reports suggest he, maybe more than anyone, needed that goal. Was it form? Something else?
Well, it seems like a mix of things, really. Both internal club stuff and external pressure. He's the captain, right? A massive figure for the fans. Very symbolic.
Huge responsibility.
Exactly. But there's been real uncertainty around his specific role tactically. And on top of that, constant chatter in the media about his contract, his future influence, that sort of thing.
Ah, okay. So it's about his place in the team and his longer-term standing at the club. Double pressure.
Pretty much. Which makes that goal. Well, it's instantly transformative, isn't it? The analysis called it a moment of just pure composure amidst all that noise.
A timely response, you can say.
Definitely timely. For a player facing those specific doubts, scoring the winner in the Derby, that's your instant redemption story right there. It's a reminder to everyone, fans, the board maybe, of his enduring value, a very public answer to those questions.
So big picture implications then for the league standings.
Well, for Roma, the Giallorossi, it keeps them right in the thick of the European qualification race, gives them a real shot of belief.
And Lazio.
Yeah, for Lazio. That hurts. Their form was already a bit shaky, described as stuttering. Losing to your biggest rivals just magnifies that massively. The pressure on the coach, Maurizio Sarri, must be immense now. Another inconsistent result, and in this fixture of all fixtures.
Right, okay. So that's Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Intense, personal, tactical, and completely shifting gears. We go from that internal drama to external chaos in France. Le Classique postponed, Marseille versus PSG. Just stopped.
Yeah, a huge deal. One of the biggest games on the French calendar just called off. And the reason was entirely out of anyone's hands, really. Public safety concerns.
The weather, right.
Severe storm warnings in the Provence region. Authorities made the call. Ligue 1 organizers had to act. It just shows sometimes nature dictates terms. No coach can plan for that.
Makes sense from a safety perspective, absolutely. But the knock-on effects, that's where it gets messy. The scheduling, specifically.
Oh, it's bizarre. The reports call it significant scheduling headaches, and that's putting it mildly. They've rescheduled the match for the exact same night as the Ballon d'Or ceremony in Paris.
Wait, really? The same night?
The very same night. It's this incredible collision. You've got this massive domestic rivalry clashing head-on with global football's biggest awards night. It really throws a spotlight on the complex web of modern football, the commercial side, the scheduling demands.
That's quite the clash. How does that impact PSG specifically? I mean, the awards are in Paris.
It tests them massively. You've got key players, potentially Ballon d'Or candidates themselves, senior staff, club executives. They're all expected at that gala. It's huge for the club's image, for PR.
So they're basically being asked to be in two crucial places at once.
Pretty much. They have to split their focus, their resources, the biggest individual award ceremony versus their biggest league rivalry. It's a major dilemma.
But hang on, can't they just, prioritize the match, send some B-team executives to the awards? Is it really a crisis or more of a PR tangle?
I think it leans towards crisis because of the optics, the brand. PSG positions itself as a global superclub. If they have players nominated, or especially if one wins, the top brass needs to be there, front and center. It validates their status.
Sending deputies wouldn't have the same impact.
Exactly. It dilutes the message. So now they're stuck choosing between giving everything to win a vital match and maximizing their global brand presence at the most glamorous event in football. The storm basically forced an impossible choice on them.
Wow. Those internal planning meetings must be something else. What about Marseille? They were all set to host at the Velodrome. Is this delay secretly a good thing for them, given their reported struggles for consistency? Or just more disruption?
The reports frame it as definitely unwelcome disruption. Even if they're struggling for form, you build up a certain energy, a focus for a game like Le Classique.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, right. And to have all that preparation just suddenly cut short, the fixture moved, it's mentally draining, it doesn't really help them find stability. It just throws another wrench into what sounds like a pretty turbulent season for them already.
Okay, so we have the intense personal pressure in Rome, the bizarre external logistical pressure in France. How does this fit into the wider European picture? Was everyone else dealing with this kind of drama?
Well, this is where we get that interesting counterpoint from Germany. Bayern Munich, according to the tracking data, just kept rolling, another win. Described with that phrase, machine-like efficiency.
Machine-like. That really stands out against the chaos in Italy and France, doesn't it? Why do teams like Bayern seem maybe not immune, but less affected by this kind of turbulence?
Well, it's not that they're immune, perhaps, but maybe they define efficiency differently. When analysts talk about Bayern's machine-like efficiency, they often mean consistency in their internal processes. Like minimal squad rotation, a very drilled tactical system, and just this relentless ability to convert chances, almost regardless of the external noise. They focus intensely on controlling the variables they can control.
So in this specific weekend, they just executed their plan with high precision, predictable results.
Exactly. While elsewhere, things were far less predictable.
So putting it all together, it feels like there are these two models operating. The Bayern way, minimize internal variables, control what you can, and then maybe the Roma PSG way, where external factors seem to constantly shape events.
That's a good way to look at it. This weekend really highlighted how much outcomes are now being influenced by this odd mix of things. The weather, player form tied to contracts, off-field narratives like award ceremonies.
Yeah, the personal pressure on Pellegrini, a storm delaying a massive game, the clash with a gala. None of that is about tactics on a whiteboard.
Precisely. But they're all shaping league tables, potentially deciding coaches' futures. It's all part of this unpredictable theater that defines the modern game.
Makes you wonder what a manager's job description really covers these days. Okay, so for everyone listening, let's quickly boil down the two main takeaways from this wild weekend.
Okay, first takeaway, Rome. It was all about those specific high-stakes factors. Pellegrini's personal redemption moment, coupled with Mourinho's classic tactical clampdown, delivering a huge Derby win through sheer resolve, mental and defensive strength.
Got it. Victory through grit. And the second?
Second, France, and that truly bizarre collision course. A major rivalry, Le Classique, postponed by a storm, now rescheduled to clash directly with the Ballon d'Or, creating this massive logistical and, frankly, PR headache, especially for PSG.
Right, the weather creating an unprecedented scheduling nightmare.
Exactly. And if we tie this back to that idea of efficiency we mentioned with Bayern, it leaves you with a pretty interesting question to think about.
Go on.
Well, consider this. How much of a top club's success today isn't just about brilliant tactics or peak player fitness, but about their ability to manage or just simply survive these completely uncontrollable external forces? I mean, when a freak storm can force your biggest league game onto the same night as the Ballon d'Or, does the ability to navigate that chaos, to reschedule, to manage the PR fallout, Does that represent a new kind of efficiency, a logistical efficiency that might, in this chaotic environment, be becoming almost as valuable as tactical genius on the pitch itself?
That's definitely something to chew on. A fascinating thought to end on. We'll see you next time for the next deep dive.